Is it gonna stay on? Hi guys, it's Kiana. I'm back with another YouTube video after a long break, and it was unintentional. I had way too much school to deal with, but I'm back and I'm doing a long-awaited video. I'm doing a Q&A as Miss Teen Canada. So for those of you that don't know, I recently won Miss Teen Canada. Well, I guess it wasn't recently. I won last year, March 2020, and I've gotten so many questions over the past year, and a lot of people want to know my experience, what I've been through, what it's been like to go from not doing any pageants to doing one and winning. So this is exactly what we're going to get into in this video. I've got, I think, 10 questions to answer, and I'm super excited to be sharing my journey with you guys. The first question is, what did it take to win? So this was obviously my first pageant, and to be honest, I didn't know during the pageant if I was going to win, but the main thing I focused on was just being myself. I remember telling my mom that when I got chosen for a finalist and like when I signed up, I was kind of nervous because it was obviously a new experience, something I'd never done. And I didn't want to change. I didn't know a lot about pageants, only from what I had seen on TV or like toddlers and tiaras. I just didn't want to fall into the stereotype because I don't really see myself as a pageant girl. I just kind of see myself as someone who's passionate and driven about a cause. And I think staying true to myself is ultimately what won me the crown. We're gonna be here forever if I take this long to answer each question. Okay, number 2 is, how many interviews have you done? So I think I've done 4 interviews, and that first one I think was the Burnaby Now, and then I did one with Peru Mira. They basically interview inspirational women or anybody with a story, and so that was probably my favorite interview because they asked me so many different questions. Third interview I did was with BCIT, and I did it with a friend from high school. Shout out to Sebastian, thanks so much for interviewing me. The 4th interview I actually did like last week with the Burnaby Beacon, and that'll be coming out I think in a few weeks. I'll get sent a copy of it or something. Oh my god, this next question is my favorite part of being Miss Teen Canada. I think maybe my favorite part is I get to share what I'm passionate about, and like there's kind of no bounds to that. So like whatever I really care about, like for instance self-care, self-love, living your best lives, like I do these TikToks and reels and all sorts of things on my social media platforms that I'm really passionate about, and I feel like I have a bigger platform now to do that because instead of it just being like me doing it as myself, I also have Miss Teen Canada behind me. I think probably being with Bramella, who's Miss Canada, like we've done a lot of events together, and she's probably become one of my best friends, and it's really nice to have someone older than me who's been in pageant systems, who knows what's going on to like guide me. So shout out to you, Bram. I'm so happy I met you, and you've helped me so much through this journey, and it's had a lot of ups and downs because of COVID, right? Because it's not really a normal reign, and I couldn't have done any of it without you, Bram, so thank you so much. Okay, this one is, what was the scariest part of trying out to be Miss Teen Canada? Honestly, I think for me, I was really concerned about like the environment and like if it would be like toxic or like if I would feel bad about myself when I went to compete. Like I was kind of worried about that, just like for my own mental health and that kind of a thing. And it actually, like I had such a pleasant experience, and I can't speak for other people, but I enjoyed it so much. But I was really worried about like that negative energy, and I personally didn't experience any of it. And I think that was kind of because I was focusing on myself, and I was hanging out with people that like I would be friends with in real life. I was also trying to just be myself, and I can't really think of a specific instance if there was something I didn't agree with or a thing I didn't want to be around, but I know me, like I will remove myself from a situation I don't want to be in. This is actually a really cool question. So what made you decide to compete in the Miss Teen Canada, Miss Canada pageant system? Okay, to be honest, so I think I've mentioned it about 1,000 times. This was my first pageant ever, and I didn't know of many other pageant systems. So the only pageant system I knew of other than the Miss Teen Canada, Miss Canada pageant system was Miss Teenage Canada, which I was originally enrolled in Miss Teenage BC when I was in high school. I ended up dropping out really last minute as I felt that I didn't have enough time to prepare. But then it was kind of my mom who encouraged me to do the Miss Teen, Miss Canada pageant because we kind of like, we were interested in that official trademark. This question, ooh, this is actually a really good question. Okay, what kept you motivated after you became a finalist? And what were some of your next steps? Okay, so when I became a finalist, I actually didn't know. This is actually a really cool story. So basically, like, I'm on a cheer team at UBC, or at least I was back before COVID, and we all had like partners, and like my partner somehow found out through Facebook that I was a finalist. And at this point, I hadn't told anyone. I think maybe 2 friends that I was really close to from high school knew, and my family, but nobody else knew. And so I guess it was posted on Facebook and I had no idea. And she put it in our group chat. And I personally, at first, like before this, I hadn't planned on telling anyone because I had this weird paranoia where I didn't think people would want to hear about it. Like, I didn't really think that, I don't know, I just didn't feel like people would be happy for me, or like they would have thought I was doing something like strange. I don't know. I just didn't think that I would get a positive response. But then when my friend Serena put it in the group chat, all my cheer team was like so excited for me, and that made me feel so good. It was so sweet. Like, UBC cheer team, you were so supportive in my journey, and I can't thank you all enough because it meant so much to me. And after that, I decided to like make an Instagram post, and I kind of went like full in after that because I was kind of like, I wasn't half in, but I hadn't been able to commit to myself. So once I became a finalist, I was like, you know what, I'm kind of like in training now. And I was really into like preparing my mind and like preparing like my platform. I didn't think about, like, I knew there was pageant coaches out there. I didn't really think about that. I kind of wanted to go in like really blind and just have my own experience. The only pageant prep I did was I just wanted to make sure I could walk in heels so I didn't like fall and embarrass myself. That was kind of like the only thing I did. Like, I practiced probably for about 2 months. I would do like a 5 to 10 minute walk before I went to bed just to make sure I wouldn't fall. And then I just prepared my mind. Like, I did manifestation, and actually I have the card. Let me go get it. Like, I manifested everything, and that helped me a lot because I really believed in myself. So this is what helped me the most. Like, I mean, preparing my platform was huge, like really what I wanted to share as Miss Teen Canada if I won. And then my mental, like, mind state, because I didn't want to get there and be like comparing myself, feeling bad about myself, because I knew I was going to be surrounded by amazing women who wanted to change the world, whether they won or not. So I wanted to make sure that I was prepared for that, and I felt confident enough in myself. What I did is I practiced manifestation. And so here's the card. And this technique, I've done it a few times when I've been nervous about exams, but this time was like amazing because it helped me so much. So basically what I did is I started writing out, I am going to win Miss Teen Canada. And in like a weird way, I would go into my mirror and I would look at myself in the mirror and just say it out loud. Like, it feels kind of weird, but it helped me so much because even if you don't believe it at the time, you trick yourself into believing it because you've wrote it down, you've materialized it that way, and then you've said it out loud and you've heard it. So it's kind of like reaffirming it over and over again, and then you begin to believe it. So I wrote, I'm going to win Miss Teen Canada like 5 times. And then I wrote, I'm going to be Miss Teen Canada. And then like before I left, I actually wrote, I am Miss Teen Canada. And that was about 5 days before the pageant. And I never looked, I just kind of brought it with me, and I didn't do it again while I was in Montreal, but I really believed that I could do it. Like, I couldn't figure out how it was gonna come into my life and how I would have the time for it, but I believed that I could do it. So I feel like that really prepared me well, because if you can't see it, how are you gonna do it? Okay, so how has your life changed since becoming Miss Teen Canada? I feel like I feel like for the most part, because I made it such a big point to be myself the entire time, I feel like my life has, like, who I am is the same person, but I feel like one of the biggest things is I believe in myself more. Like, if I want to do something, there is like no question that I'm going to do it, and I will just figure it out as I go. It's kind of like just going after what I want. And I feel like because I won Miss Teen Canada, it gave me momentum that if I wanted to do something, I just did it right away. Something I always wanted to do in high school, or like I knew I wanted to do after I got out of high school, was to make a YouTube channel. Once I won Miss Teen Canada, like, I bought a camera and I did it. Other things like making Instagram TV videos, like, that's something I probably would have been really shy about doing. I did that, and at first, like, obviously I was nervous, but I got better at it. I got more confident on camera, and I just went with it. Making TikToks about things I actually care about and not just random stuff, you know, like making workout videos, recipes, self-love advice, like that's stuff I care about. And I think before, I may not have been willing to put my passions on the line because I would be afraid of people not liking it or thinking it's weird or not accepting that that's something I like about myself. But I feel like winning gave me a new kind of confidence, like I can do anything I want. And it wasn't really about winning, but I think it was a lot about the support I had. It was really, really overwhelming in like a good way, because I really wasn't expecting it. And it was like the entire week it was like that. And then when I won, it was even more so. And like when I came back to school, like I went back to UBC right before lockdown, it was just so amazing to have that. And that really, really helped me, because I kind of felt like I wasn't going in alone and that I had people behind me, which was really nice. And I'm so grateful for that, because that is the whole point. Like I want to do this for my people, like my audience. Like I want to help my audience. So that was a really big part of it for me. Oh, this one's a little controversial. Do people treat you differently now that you've won Miss Teen Canada? So there's kind of two answers to this, like no and yes. I feel like people who have always been a part of my life, like friends I have treated me the exact same, because like I haven't changed. Like I've said this about 1,000 times in this video. I wanted to be me and I wanted to win as me. And if it wasn't going to go that way, then I wasn't going to win. I think everybody that liked me before, I think they still like me now. And I think people that didn't like me before, they probably don't like me even more. You know what I mean? Sometimes it is a bit of an elephant in the room at times. It's kind of awkward for me to say like, oh, like I have to go to like Montreal or something. And then when people ask why, I say, oh, well, I'm going to pass down my crown. It's not really something you talk about normally in conversation. So in that way, it is a bit different. But for the most part, I feel like people treat me the same. When it comes to like professional career, like I think some people are obviously more inclined to want to work with me because of the title. But I mean, it's good advertising, right? Like that's just that's the way of the business, and that's not surprising to me, and I don't think that should be surprising to anyone else either. Will you compete in another pageant in the future? So, I mean, this is something that I originally would have actually had to decide about, because I would have competed internationally had COVID not happened. So that's kind of like a separate thing. But I guess this question is asking more like, will I compete for another title eventually? I mean, I don't know, like, to be honest. Like, I'm someone who I like to keep all my options open, so I'm not gonna say no, I wouldn't compete. I don't have any plans right now, but you know, I never know what's gonna happen in the future. I'm kind of the kind of person that wants to stay open. If I feel like I'm in the place to compete again and I want to, of course, I would never not do it. I guess you'll have to stay tuned for that, because yeah, I don't know what's coming for me in the future, but I know I'm excited for it. Okay, we have finally made it to our last question, and this one is, what is your advice for anyone competing in a pageant? I think you guys know what I'm gonna say. Just be yourself. That's what made winning so special to me, because I felt like I was myself the entire time. Like sometimes to the point where I was like, I think I messed this up, because I was too real. And you know what? You want to be that way, because you want to bring what's special about you to the table, because if you didn't, everyone would just be the same. And there's no point in picking a winner if everyone is the same. So I would say just really be authentic to who you are. Work on your platform, because the thing is, like, if you work on like the exterior side of it, like the beauty and the interview and like that stuff, that's all fine and dandy to win. But when you go to actually reign as the queen or the title holder, whatever, you have to stick to your platform and know how to carry it out, and your ideas and your plans. And so I think if you're already thinking ahead of the game with that, you're gonna get that forward movement that's gonna like bring that confidence. And when you do win, you will be so ready to be in that role. And then like obviously the last thing is just prepare your mind and your mental health. I mean, me personally, like I had a very positive experience, but I do know some people that can experience imposter syndrome when they get there, because you are surrounded by a ton of young women that want to change the world and want to make an impact. And that doesn't mean your impact is less, but you have to prepare yourself to be inspired by other people and not in that like compare yourself mindset. And of course it can be difficult at sometimes, but it's something we need to work through just in everyday life. And for a pageant, when you're pretty much being judged on like who you are, what you believe in, and to some extent what you look like and how you present yourself, you have to be prepared to be kind of microanalyzed and to be microanalyzing yourself. That would probably be my advice to anyone who's competing in any pageant system, anywhere. Doesn't matter what the core of the pageant is, you want to take care of yourself first. With that being said, those were the questions I chose to answer. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun for me to like get on here, wear my crown, wear my sash, and just tell you my truth and like what it's been like and how I've been enjoying it. And it's been such a special journey, and I can't believe that I got to experience this. So I am so grateful for that. If you guys like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more from me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this long video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.